If you're thinking that caring for older relatives is something that a family just does with no help from outsiders, you're not alone. Many of us watched our parents and other relatives do things this way. Tending to older family members is a task as old as humankind. For thousands of years, the formula has been pretty much the same. A person gets old and moves in with an adult child, often a woman, who puts her life on hold to provide care for the elderly loved one. In those days, there were no nursing homes. There were no assisted living centers. There was no Medicare or Medicaid. It was the family's responsibility to meet all the older person's needs until he or she passed away. It's a model that worked for a long, long time. But there's just one problem. For the vast majority of Americans, it doesn't work anymore, even though family members drive themselves to burnout and torture themselves with guilt, thinking that it should. Why doesn't the old way of delivering elder care work anymore? Chalk it up to 6 factors. First, everyone is living longer. People don't die at the age of 45 or 50 like they did a century ago. As people age, they tend to develop chronic conditions like Alzheimer's disease that require expensive long-term care, often for decades. Families are more fragmented than ever before. The U.S. is no longer an agrarian society where families have lots of kids, no one moves away, and extended families support each other. People move more often, and many adult children live far away from where they were raised. Third, families are much smaller than they've ever been. Couples with more than 3 children are the exception rather than the norm these days. That means fewer family caregivers to go around. The fourth reason involves money. Care used to be for free, or at least it seemed to be, when a family member was providing it. Now, care is extremely expensive, and it's often needed for decades. This can create massive financial and legal problems for a family, problems that didn't exist a generation ago. Cultural changes are another issue. When fewer women were in the workforce, it was easier for a family member to assume responsibility for care of an elderly loved one. Dual careers make this far more difficult. Now, just about everyone has a job outside the home. People who work full-time and manage the care of an elderly loved one often find themselves constantly working and totally stressed out. And finally, there are more service options than ever before. Family caregivers are confronted with a dizzying array of services. The research required to make informed choices is time-consuming. It's like earning the equivalent of a PhD in elder care. No one has time for that these days. So if you're feeling inadequate or guilty or wrong about your ability to provide care on top of everything else you have to do, this is why. You're swimming against a current you can't see. But here's the good news. There's a new way to handle this age-old problem. It's called life care planning. This holistic approach to elder law gives family caregivers a new way to plan for, manage, and navigate a loved one's long-term care journey without the stress, without the guilt, without the burnout. This new way makes it possible for seniors to avoid placing legal, financial, or emotional burdens on their children as they age. Life care planning fixes the things that don't work when you try to take the old model of elder care and apply it in today's world. It addresses the legal and financial problems created by the high cost of care. It provides support with every decision you'll have to make as your loved one's condition changes. It solves the problem of proximity created by today's fragmented families. It provides support to family caregivers. Life care planning gives you the help you've been looking for. The new way also provides something that people have rarely been able to find during the elder care journey: comfort. The life care planning process guides, supports, and comforts older adults and family caregivers every step of the way. It provides the kind of comprehensive support people have always wanted during the long, difficult, and emotionally draining elder care years. Life care planning is truly revolutionary, and Truhlsen Elder Care Law of Nebraska is the only firm in the state that offers it. So if you're doing elder care the old way, take a moment to think about what you might gain by trying something new, and then give us a call.